I grew up in a blue-collar family, so we didn't get a chance to take a lot of flights. But there were a couple, 2 or 3 that we took. And my mom was the disciplinarian in the house, and what she would do with 3 boys is she would line us up against the wall before we got to the airport and say, "We'll kill you." And it was funny because on those, 4 or 5 flights, the flight attendants would say, "Wow, your boys are so well behaved," because we were scared shitless. We wouldn't dare talk or do anything. So I didn't get a chance to really travel a lot until I got into college, and you do the spring break thing and you go away, and I really enjoyed it. We went to some great places. And then when I got into work, I started traveling a lot for work, going somewhere for work, and this family got on, and this kid was absolutely screaming. So I looked. Yes, Nancy, I'm one of those assholes with the evil eye, right? And I didn't look to complain at first. I looked to say, wow, if my mother was ever here, she would kill that kid. But then it happened more often, and I, started getting annoyed. And I would be one of those guys who'd be like, right? Hey, Mile High Club. You always fantasize as a guy. Hey, maybe a hot model's going to walk in and sit next to you, and you don't never know what happens. I've flown hundreds of times. It's never happened. Not the Mile High Club, not the hot model sitting next to me. Never. Right? So I ended up getting married, and my wife and I like to travel. And then we had kids, and when my wife was pregnant with our first child, I would tell my coworkers who had kids, I will never be like you. Our lives aren't going to change. We're going to travel when we want. You people are nuts. And we had Gabby, and she was colic for 18 months and screamed. I went back to those co-workers and I apologized to every single one of them. So we get on the plane with my daughter, right? We're sitting in the seats and she's screaming hysterically and there's nothing we can do. And one gentleman turns and gives me the evil eye, and I'm like, hey, he just gave me the evil eye. I can't believe it. And the times we flew, it was absolute. And I was like, this is awesome. Quiet. And family got on, kids started screaming, and I looked and I said to that family, is there anything I can do for you? Can I take the kid for you? I'm happy to help. So my wife has a habit when we fly of, the Stop and Shop plastic bags? She puts all the stuff in there. So now you're schlepping, and I'm very efficient when I get to the airport. I like to be on time. When you take the kids, it's all hands on deck, and you're running into the airport, you're sweating, and I have the car seat dragging it. So this one time, I have 3 children now, and we have all 3 on a flight, and I'm sweating, I'm tortured, and I'm getting on the plane, and I'm dragging the car seat behind me. Some guy looks at me, and I'm like, don't you even dare! Look straight ahead! Drag it. It was at 3 and 3, so it was my youngest, my middle. Actually, that's not true. That is true. And where was Gabby? Gabby was in the middle. Nick was with me, and it ended up switching where my youngest was on my wife's lap, and my 2 others were next to her, and I was alone on the aisle next to my wife. So Tracy's like, hey, listen, can you put it under the damn seat? Right? Everybody's staring at us because the kid, my youngest, is screaming again. And I'm like, God, I hate this. And then all of a sudden, and we sit in the way back because we torture people and we don't want to torture, the whole flight. So we might as well torture just the back people sitting in the back. So all of a sudden, 2 women walk on the flight. And Tracy looks at me and she goes, oh, look at the 2 strippers. Because they simultaneously realized that the 2 seats next to me are open. And I'm like, there's no way that I'm on the flight with my family, and 2 strippers are going to sit next to me. And here they come walking down. I see Tracy looking at me, and of course they get to my aisle, and they're like, "Hi, I think we're in there." Okay, and I get up to let them in, and one of the strippers got the bag, and I feel this punch to my back, and I'm like, oh, and I almost went down. So they sit down, and I sit down next to them, and I'm like, just look straight ahead, look straight ahead, look straight ahead. And so I said, you know, maybe they'll put their headphones in and it'll be all good. And of course, they want to chat me up, right? Oh, you live in New York? What do you do? And I'm having a conversation, and I get the, hey, can I have the beer? Right? And then my youngest daughter's starting to cry, scream. She's very young, and we're bottle feeding her, and I'm trying to, you know, chat with these ladies, and Tracy's getting really ticked at me. And so finally, Tracy's like, I can't get her calm. Can you take her? And the 2 strippers look over. Oh, that's your family. Yes. Actually, I said, mm-hmm. Was that a yes? And I'm like, yes. So I take Frankie in my arms, and the strippers look at me and say, oh, we're nannies. We were just on a trip together, and we're going back. And so I can't get Frankie to stop crying, and I'm like, do you want to try? And the one sitting next to me says, oh no, we don't deal with infants. So Tracy looks over. So things finally settle down. I finally have Frankie calm. And she's on me, and she has the bottle, and she falls asleep, and so do the 2 stripper nannies. So the bottle was hanging over my shoulder, and I didn't know it started to leak on the stripper, like right here. So she's like mortified, and so I get the burp rag, and I start wiping it on her breast. I'm just like, not intentional, just trying to help her. And she's horrified. She's starting to scream, and she's like, oh my God, is that breast milk? And she gets up, pushes me aside, and runs down to the lavatory. And I'm looking down at her, and then I feel the eyes on me. Is this what you do on business trips? Thank you. One of the